Hello YouTube! So today I am recording in my room on the floor because I didn't want to go in my car today. It was really cold. Of course I thought it would be a little boring with just me here, so I added my favorite candle and my little peanut pet. I just wanted to do a continuation of the continuation of the I'm Autistic video. If this is the first video that you're seeing from me, I do recommend this video. It is the very first video of this playlist that I'm creating, and it'll give you some insight and you can just watch this whole playlist. I'm just going to be adding videos to it probably every week for a while. I think I stopped at first grade, so we're going to go into second grade now. This was a very significant time because my mom and dad kind of saw it at this point. They were like, okay, something's definitely weird. No one asked any questions. And honestly, it's probably because at this time, maybe they just kind of thought, you know, just weird child behavior. Like they weren't thinking this was a compulsion or that it was trichotillomania. They probably just kind of understood I'd grow out of it. And for the most part, I have, definitely grown out of at least the hair ripping. I don't have too many memories of first and second grade. I do have memories of third grade. So in third grade, my mom was actually my teacher. I got to third grade, I was very popular because she was my mom. Because I was popular doesn't necessarily mean that I was very well liked, and I was very rude at this time. I definitely had a very strong personality, very aggressive, and definitely a tomboy. I started making friends on my own at this point, but they stayed acquaintances for the most part. One friend that I made in third grade, she was one that I played Roblox with. It's so funny because I don't remember this stuff until I go and revisit it. And I did have a few acquaintances. I guess they didn't feel as close because I wasn't included in a lot of the stuff. Having my mom as my teacher definitely put me out there. I was more willing to talk to people because everyone wanted to be my friend because I was the teacher's kid. So I don't know how many of those were actual friendships versus acquaintanceships. Something about that sounds wrong. After school, I would play with my friend that I met in kindergarten, or that I made in kindergarten, that became friends with me in kindergarten, I don't know. And she was very outgoing and very outspoken, and I was very reserved. And then I met this other girl and we played Roblox for years. Because at this time, my other friend, she started making her own friends too. At this point, I had about two what I would call friends, where you spend time with each other outside of school. Of course, this was resolved for me in third grade. You know, you're the popular kid because you got on the football team and now everyone wants to be your friend. It's just one of those situations where it just self-resolves. That's the reason that I started making those other friends and forming those other relationships. And even though it was kind of weird, I don't remember getting bullied so much then. I just think that they probably knew not to bully me because my mom was the teacher. After I left that class that year and then moved on to the next year, and then once I left that school, it kind of just reverted back, and we will talk about that. Fourth grade, I left my mom's class and I had a teacher that my mom liked. In fourth grade, I didn't have as many friends in fourth grade, and people did start treating me differently. I was more of an outcast and I had a hard time in class. This is where I first started having issues and started realizing that I had a learning disability. Of course, in fourth grade, I didn't know what a learning disability was, but this is when the signs started to show up. So I do want to talk about the issues I had with learning fourth grade, because like I said, this is when the signs started to show up. And I don't know, maybe I could talk more about ADHD on its own in a different video. I don't know. I feel like they have to be talked about together because I can't really completely distinguish between what is what. Our teacher, that was this very organized teacher, she took us to the lab, the computer lab, and it was basically set up in a square room where the computers were all around the perimeter of it, and then there was a small section in the center where there were more computers where more students would sit. There could have been 20 of us in there, and I was sitting in the corner. We had our own headphones, and of course this program that we were using was going to teach us math. So the way that this math program worked was, screen shows up, it's got question 4 times 7, and you just type in the answer and you press enter, and it takes you to the next one, and then you do that one and it takes you to the next one. Have an assignment, so there's assignment number 1, and in this one assessment there might be 20 problems that were just like that, and so you'd have to do 20 of those, and then you'd finished assessment number 1. Her rule was, and she was a great teacher, honestly, her rule was for every assessment that you finish, you get 1 Skittle in a Dixie cup. You know, Dixie cups are just like this big, But they can hold a lot of Skittles. During this class, she was just talking the entire time. I was doing the assessment. I was on assessment number 1, and I was doing fine. I was like, okay, it's nice and quiet in here. And then she starts talking, and I freeze. Like, I've got my fingers on the keys, and I freeze. And she's like, oh, and guys, make sure that you do this, and you remember this, and it's really important to do this. And then after she finished talking, it would take me about 30 seconds. And then I look back at the problem, be like, okay, 7 times 5 is 35, and I type that in. And then as soon as I did that, she'd start talking again. And so that would repeat itself. That would just keep happening until it got really, really bad. It was so bad that anytime she talked, I couldn't think. My brain was shut down completely. And it wasn't so much that I was like, okay, I need to listen to what she's saying. I'll take a break. It was literally like every function of thought that I had for processing or whatever, it just turned off completely. And I ended up holding my fingers over the keys and looking at the problem and 10 times 5, 10 times 5, 10 times 5, 10 times 5 in my head for about 2 or 3 minutes, which is a very long time, especially for thinking. I'm not able to think 10 multiplied by 5, or I'm not thinking 10 5 times. I'm just literally only able to process visually what's happening is what the screen says, 10x 5, just over and over. And that was it. And it was a lot worse than I thought it was. At the end of the class period, which is maybe like 45 minutes or an hour, whatever, I had 3 Skittles. I knew 1 through 12 memorized by heart, and 9 I knew, and 12 I knew. I could recite this all just sitting, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and so forth, I can't. So forth and so on. Please, I don't mean to insult anyone with this, because I understand that those timetables things were hard. My friend, she had 27 Skittles in her cup. I heard other people like, I have 18 Skittles. I have 13 Skittles. I have 20 Skittles, whatever. I had 3 Skittles. And not only is it kind of like I only got 3 Skittles, like I only get to eat 3 Skittles, like that's very disappointing. And then it was also everyone else has more Skittles than me. And then it was also I have to hide my Skittles. Like I have to hurry up and eat these, because how did you only get 3 Skittles? Like how did you only do 3 assessments in an hour and a half? So that's how that class went. And that was when I realized something was wrong. That was a very telling thing. I think I told my mom about it either a year later or 2 years later. But it was also at this time that my grades started to decline. From an A to like regularly making a C or a B, D on my report cards. When I got to 5th grade, it was not really strange to see a C on my report card. I was trying very hard to understand the information, to grasp the information. I also had a hard time staying awake in classes and paying attention. And I wasn't medicated, and no one knew that I had ADHD at this time, or ADD. In 5th grade, I had this one teacher, and she honestly, not the nicest to me, and I don't know why. And I do still remember some of the things in the way that I was treated. I did not have glasses, but I needed glasses. And so I couldn't see the board. And we had the big electronic whiteboard, and I couldn't see it, didn't see it the entire time I was in school. And I would have to sit on the floor of the class to take notes. It wasn't that bad. Now I'm looking back at it, that kind of does seem a little mean. I don't know, it's kind of humiliating now that I think about it. Just like having your kids sit at the front on the floor and bend up at the board instead of giving them a handout. I don't know, like maybe it's not a big deal. I could be over-exaggerating, or not over-exaggerating. I could be overreacting, I don't know, but I had to sit up front, and a lot of the times it was by myself. I didn't have glasses, and she knew that I couldn't see very far. She would constantly ask me to grab things for her that were so far away in the room that I couldn't see them. Knowing that I couldn't see, like if I can't see the whiteboard, how am I going to see a binder that's across the room? And it was only me. Like, mind you, she had her, like, nieces and nephews in the same class as me and didn't ask them, but she would ask me. And then, of course, they would be like, oh, well, I can get it instead. I hate to see it as a form of bullying because, I mean, I don't know. We just don't realize that teachers are also people, and they are capable of bullying. And some teachers do bully their students, and for no really good reason. And I just want to say, if you are a teacher, and you're a good teacher, and you care about your students, thank you, because I understand, because both of my parents were teachers. I know the impact personally a good teacher and a bad teacher have on children, and you will change lives, whether you realize it or not. Teachers are underpaid, and that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. This one kid was literally bullying me and I had to sit beside him, and she just never, I told her, I was like, I just can't sit by this person, and she would continually place me next to him the entire year. And I was like, do I have to call the cops? You can't treat children like this. And like, I don't know. I didn't know why she didn't just sit me with another girl. I don't know. I feel like she was trolling me that entire 5th grade year. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see the other videos, you can just check on the playlist or on my channel. You can also subscribe to see when I upload new videos, especially pertaining to this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye.